just tonight. The most beautiful girl I've seen in all my life. Every second spent with you, it's like a day that starts bright. Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to another exciting Saturday evening. And that song playing in the background is by the well-renowned Nigerian artist Timi Dakolo. For always. I don't know if you're enjoying it, but I still love that song. Baby, don't you go away. Ìyàwó mi, olólùfẹ́ mi, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, aláyọ̀ mi. I will love you forever. I want to welcome you to another wonderful and exciting Saturday on the Y.W.W.B Initiative Discussion Platform. And I remain your humble coordinator for the platform, Rosemary Henry Eze. And I have live with me here my co-host, and I promise you that I'll be around for always. Girl, you are my sunshine, baby, don't you go away. Ìyàwó mi, olólùfẹ́ mi, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, aláyọ̀ mi. I will love you forever. If you permit me, I'm going to sing that song for the entire time of this program. Good evening once more and welcome to another beautiful, exciting Saturday on the Y.W.W.B Initiative platform. And the Y.W.W.B Initiative platform represents or stands for the Young Women and Wives with Burdens and Blessing. And what better time to celebrate love, or rather express love, than in the month of February. Love in all fashion, love in all sense of it. And tonight we'll be talking on a very beautiful, sensitive topic: romance and respect. The what? The hallmark of intimacy. Okay. So, mommy, I'm trying to the host for tonight. I'm trying to add her. I'm adding her, but Facebook is, so I'm bringing on the host for tonight, Olabisi Adeshola. And as our custom is, as our style is, once you come live, please let us know where you are joining us from. Like I said, my name is Rosemary Henry Eze, and I coordinate the affairs, the Young Wives and Women with Burdens and Blessings. Oh, Facebook, please show mercy today. I hope there's no technical issue. And I can see our speaker is here with us. Our speaker is live and direct. She's here with us. And as I read her biography, I will be bringing her on. I'm trying to bring in my co-anchor for this evening, the host for this evening. I'm trying to bring her on. But I think we are having okay. Okay. So how was your week? Okay, beautiful. Good evening, Ma. Our speaker is here. Ma, good evening, welcome. Please, Ma, kindly show yourself on camera. I hope you can see.
I am on camera.
Okay. Probably it's from my end. Okay. I'm trying to bring in our host for this evening, but I don't know what the issue is. Welcome, Ma. How was your week? How are you doing?
Good. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So I will be reading the biography of our speaker for tonight. Mommy, sorry, I'm talking to the host for tonight. Tebang Mommy, I don't know what's happening. No, the thing is not bringing you in. I don't know what's happening. I've been trying to add you to no avail. Okay. Sorry, I don't need it. Okay. I want to read the biography of our guest for tonight. Oh God, where did the thing run to now? Okay. Since 2003, Elizabeth Eze has been a dedicated educator in the UK, teaching and supporting students aged 11 to 18 plus and adults through challenging times. Alongside her husband, she ran a deep cleaning business and later founded an NGO that provided support programs for individuals with mental health difficulties. Driven by her passion for mental health, she retrained as a mental health nurse, where she now supports countless individuals through their struggles. She's also an entrepreneur and author. Elizabeth has written 3 books. When I saw it, I was wowed. And runs a creative spice business, writes compliance documents, helps organizations establish infrastructure, and sells business policies. As her core, she's a woman of faith and part of the leadership team for Women of Grace, RCCG Fountain of Grace, Willing Hell. When I saw this Women of Grace, I smiled because that is the name of my women fellowship back home in my church back home. She's married and a mother of 4 children. She continues to inspire through her unwavering commitment to service in education, mental health, and business. Welcome, welcome, Ma. Facebook, respect yourself this evening. You know. Okay. So I don't know what happened. Facebook kind of threw you out again. Okay. Please, I will suggest mommy and our guests, will you please try to send me an invite because I'm trying to bring you in, but I don't know what's happening. I believe it's technical issues, which, okay. The technical issue is a bit, it's becoming really persistent these days with Facebook, okay? Okay, our host for tonight says, please continue with the program. Okay, she will join us eventually. Thank you so much. I want to welcome everyone joining us. I want to welcome Esther Itiola. I want to welcome Izeho Ayoalade. I want to welcome Olakunle Abidemi. Eva, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Facebook, what is happening? We're so sorry, but we seem to be having a little technical hitch, which is not from our end, but from the social media. Okay, Ma, you are in already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry, Facebook and its technical challenges. So this evening we'll be talking about romance and respect, the pillars of intimacy. Romance and respect, the pillars of intimacy. And believe you me, someone reached out to me and said, like, I hope, you know, Wednesday saw speaker's biography briefly on pages like, you are bringing a pastor to come and talk about romance. That the person is going to make it churchy. And I smiled. I said, no, don't overthink. Why not just join and enjoy? So welcome, Ma. Good to
Thank
have
you.
you. And
Thank you
as
very
our
much.
thank you so much. So as our custom is, we'll go straight into the topic of the day, and you get to speak for like 35 minutes, and after that we throw open question and answer. So please, Ma, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's an honor to be on the platform today. I'm very pleased to join everyone on the platform. Yes, I have a Christian background. Yes, my whole romance and respect is based on my faith, but it's also based on my experiences. So I'm also going to talk a lot about different things that us women and men in general and do. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I'm not romantic. Doesn't mean that romance and respect don't come into our relationship. So it's very, very important and very core to our principles.
Yeah.
So romance and respect, the pillars of intimacy. So I greet everyone on Facebook again, wherever you're joining. So every meaningful relationship stands on these 2 pillars: romance and respect. Every meaningful relationship, it stands on these 2 pillars, and they work together with each other. The 2 elements, they work hand in hand, because the romance, it creates intimacy, it creates deeper love, it sustains relationships. So you're not looking at something fleeting. You're not looking at something that's basic, that's something that's just come and go. You're looking at something that's going to be long lasting and it's going to last for a very long time. And you want it to sustain. And for those who are married and looking to go into marriage, or those who are still single and aspiring to get in, what are you thinking about when you think about romance? Is it just the flashes, the gifts, and all those things? Romance is a lot deeper, especially when getting to marriage. Keep sentiments aside. It's a whole different and a deeper picture. It's not just about the gifts. It's not just about the flashy things that they buy for you. That's not all what romance is. That's just 1% of what romance actually is. If you have to sustain that relationship and sustain that marriage, romance is a lot more. So thank you very much. I love for the introduction to our host. I am grateful for that. I'm grateful for you to sort of invite me on this platform. So that if there's some things that we need to learn today, we need to pick up some little things, some little tips to help you in your own relationship. And I'll give you my experience, and then you can talk about yours, or look at yours and see whether it's something for you or it's something that's not for you. So as I said before, my name is Elizabeth, and I'll be speaking on this topic. So romance is something that's intentional. It's an intentional expression of love. But now there's a category of people that are not very expressive. So where do you go with that? There's people that are expressive, there are people that are not expressive. And so, but they show romance in their own way. So you can't rule out every form of romance. Just think that it's only people that express with gifts and things like that that are romantic. Other people show romance in different ways. And some people are very affectionate. It's all romance. And some people are very passionate and it's all romance. And some people are very emotional. But all these things connect to remain and maintain and keep love alive. So we're going to look at romance, and I'm going to tell you how I view romance in my own way and what keeps me going. Respect is the foundation of trust. Is the foundation of your communication with your husband or your partner or whoever it is that you're in a relationship with, looking to get married. Respect is the foundation of it. And respect is not only, a lot of cultures have the bowing down and all of that. You can do all the bowing down, but your heart can be very, very far from me. Your heart can be probably cursing and swearing at me. But the respect, it comes from the heart. It comes from you making a decision in your heart that I'll respect this person, not just because the culture says so, but because within you it's a value, it's a fundamental value that you've built in yourself. So again, in marriage, in relationship that you're getting into, is very, very different in terms of respect. But it's a very core foundation that is the bottom line. Everyone needs to develop respect, not just towards spouses, but towards society in general. But here we're talking about the pillars of intimacy. And when one of these pillars is missing, the relationship will suffer. The love can become just routine. It can become, connections can become very weak. Misunderstandings will arise, especially in the way people speak to each other. I remember when I first got married, there was a lot of misunderstandings in the way we communicate because you marry into a different culture and people marry into different cultures. And these cultural differences can create issues and misunderstanding. But you need to learn how to understand your spouse. When you learn how to understand your spouse and understand how they communicate, then it's easier to build the bonds of respect. So I'm going to go first into romance because we'll look at romance, we'll look at the common things that affect romance, common hindrances. We'll look at the challenges, the gender inequalities, where maybe the man or the woman is a lot more societally wealthy, and they command that respect, and you feel like some kind of entitlement because you've got money. It doesn't work like that. All these things, they come from you as a person, not just because of what you've got, but it's a core value that you have as a person. So what do we mean by romance? We're going to deal with romance first. So we'll talk about them one by one. Romance is keeping the spark alive, just keeping that relationship going as much as you can. And trust me, we're not robots. We're not AI devices that you just press and they go on and off. emotions are not like that, because people, the emotions, they're up and down. The times when you feel like being romantic, the times when you don't feel like it's all natural, it's perfectly natural. There is nothing wrong with you. The most important thing is that you understand that it is something that you still need to keep working on. No one's perfect at this. No one's an expert at this. No one has romance 24/7. It can be very exhausting if you want to try to do that. So you are not a robot. You are a human being. So don't expect to be expressive 24 hours a day. So how whoever it is, you need to just, know your ways, know your partner, and know what works for the two of you. Because romance keeps the relationship exciting, keeps it special. But it's about what you and your spouse, or you and your partner, or you or that person intending to get married, define as romance for both of you. So romance is not beating your spouse, it's not fighting, it's not quarreling, it's not screaming. That's not what it's all about. That actually kills romance. It kills and destroys that romance. So it's really important that you build it on some very, very firm foundations. I'm going to tell you 9 things that keep my own relationship alive, and I believe that it will probably work for some of you. Because of time, I can't go into all of them in very, very much detail, but these are things that I am still working on. I'm still building on them. I'm still building on myself, and I'm still working on myself, no matter how long I've been. This will be my 15th year of marriage. And the people who are way more, who've been in marriage for years and years and years, and they still keep going. It doesn't mean they don't have problems. It doesn't mean that romance is always up there, but there's things that they know as a couple that they use and they work on for themselves. So what are we talking about here? So romance has, for me, these are the things that I look at as the foundation of romance. And the first one for me is love. It's love. The foundation of your romance is love. There is no pretending in romance. If you're doing flashy romance, you don't love the person and you just throw gifts at them and you throw things at them, it's going to come to an end because it's not going to sustain. There's going to be a point where that will die. It will end. So, but there needs to be foundational love in your heart for this person. Because when there's a foundational love, you will see the good, you will see the best of that person. It doesn't mean the person hasn't got flaws. It means that you've intentionally decided to see what is good about that person and celebrate it, even if it's just one thing, and you celebrate that particular thing. And that will then build onto a romantic relationship. And the romance, what about people that don't have money? They don't have ways to celebrate romance. It could just be cooking a favorite meal, it could just be watching a movie, just sitting down, and relaxing. In the early stages, it's usually beautiful, but when you get older in marriage, things start to change because you all change, you all grow, a lot of things, happen, and people build and break down certain walls. You might have come in with some walls. Those walls need to go down. New ones need to be built up for both of you. And when you get married and when you get into a relationship, then you begin to see how the other person actually is. So, but you need to now filter all the things that you feel like these are going to be, a problem for me. Put them to one side and build on the love. Build on the love. The love that you use to get married, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Trust me, it is the tip of the iceberg, because the challenges will come that will take that love out. There needs to be a greater love that's built to keep that romance going. More of that love needs to be built, because there'll be things that will come in that will challenge. You'll be thinking, why did I get married? But in the end, you need to always build on the love that you've got. The love that you have is very deep, and it needs to build. It needs to build. When you truly love that person, you will seek their happiness, you will seek their well-being, you'll be sacrificial in the beginning, and the romantic gestures will become natural expressions. It wouldn't be forced. You'll be thinking, I need to buy gifts, I need to. No, 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 none of that. So you're going to start thinking about it. It becomes you want it to be natural. You don't want it to be fake. People get tired of buying gifts. How much can you buy? What if I don't need all these things? And all I need is just you sitting down there on the sofa with me, maybe watch a movie, and that's enough for me. That's romance enough for me. So romance is not just about the things, it's about the person. Women have a different view of what romance is to what men look at. Women want you there, want the company, they want you sitting there around them. Men will be looking at something else. I don't know what they think about half the time, but never mind. Men will be thinking about something else. However, from my own side of things, I would say very easily, my husband is probably more romantic than I am. He is very, very romantic. He'll do lovely things. He'll make food, he'll share with me. He'll cut, but he's a very, very loving and romantic husband. And he moves past a lot of the things I'm talking about. When you see the negatives and everything, and it's both ways. We move past these things, and the romance then becomes a stronger bond, a bond that you can't break, and that will keep the romance going. Because if it becomes natural, then it keeps romance going. But if it's all built on something fake, it's going to come to an end at some point. The second thing that keeps us going is joy. No matter what we have, we're very joyful. We're very happy to be in each other's presence. We're very joyful. We crack jokes. Sometimes don't say, well, long time. How are you? It's been a long time. We talk, we crack jokes, we keep the conversation going, we keep joy. There's a joyful heart that makes romance enjoyable. Let it not just come from your mouth, let it come from your heart. That's where romance comes from. It comes from the heart. And it's really important. If you share laughter, positivity, you're planning together, even if you don't get anything done, just plan. You're planning together, you're thinking together, you're doing it, refreshes hope, and it keeps that relationship going. It will help to overcome some stresses that are inevitable. And then your day will be warm and you just keep going. So it's really, really important that you keep this joy going. The next thing that I work on, that for us that is really important, is peace. You need to make sure that you have peace in you first. It's not about peace in the other person. You can't control how they feel. You can only control how you feel. So you need to develop in yourself a peaceful heart. When you have peace in your heart and when you have peace in your mind, you can be able to give that out as well. But if you don't have peace, you don't have, you're constantly stressed and upset, which is inevitable because we're all human. If you're not stressed and upset, then I'm sure there's something wrong with you. We get stressed, we get upset. No one's perfect. I get stressed, I get upset. And at those times, your romance thermometer is low. But you need to find a place, there's a place for peace where which helps romance to thrive and grow. Because when you have a peaceful heart, you don't let things bother you. Whatever the person is doing, there's a lot of things you ignore a lot of things, put it that way. You ignore a lot of things. And it's not because the things are not happening, but it's because you've chosen peace and you've chosen to ignore all these things. And for me, this is how I work. And these are the things that make love thrive. Not that I don't moan about things. I moan and I complain about some things. It's inevitable. I'm a woman. That's what we do. We will moan, we will complain. However, we'll overcome and we'll decide in our hearts that we want peace. And because you want this peace, it creates a kind of harmony within the relationship. And it helps, you to feel secure and the other person to feel secure and open to express love. I keep going back to love because romance is more than just, a physical fleeting thing. It is deeper. It goes down into love. If it's no love, the romance can't express. Another thing that works for me, and I would say if you really want romance to thrive, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. It's patience because romance isn't always easy. You don't flick a button and you warm up and flick a button and you warm down straight away. No, romance is, especially women, we're very emotional beings, and our emotions go up and down really quickly. Some people, it's normal, but then patience with yourself, that you're growing and you're still growing, and patience with your spouse, your partner, or whoever's you're looking to get into a relationship with. You need to build patience. Romance thrives in patience. There'll be ups and downs. Lots of couples will endure difficulties. There'll be times when you are without and you're with. But the key important thing is you're not giving up on each other. That will allow love to deepen. You know, when you go through some certain challenges together and you come out on the other end stronger, it builds romance. It builds romance. It builds it so strongly because you look back and you say, wow, we went through that together. And then your foundation is stronger. So it's not just built on things. Look, you see, money will come and go. How much is enough? Even if they give you the whole world, if you're a greedy person, it will not be enough. And with patience comes contentment. You're content. You're happy with the small acts of kindness that are happening to you. I'm a very content person. I haven't got much, but I have enough. I'm content with the things that I have, and I'm happy for the things that God has blessed me with. Small acts of kindness. What do you do? Little things. It can be an evening, and you say, oh, this evening we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Roast fish, make pepper, and things like that. You sit down together and you eat. And I love movies. That's why I keep going back to the movies, because that's our favorite thing to do. He'll probably sleep off in a movie where we're sitting there together. But we spend that time. The key thing is the time that we have together. We spend that time together. Even if we go out for a drive, just do something, but we're spending it together. That's what builds romance. That contentment. Not all the time. You haven't given me this. You haven't given me that. You haven't given me this. No. You know, if you follow all of that, it kills romance. It kills romance. Everyone's always expecting the new. It's not when he gives you the latest phone or gives you the latest this or the latest that. What about you? What have you given him? It's two ways, you know. You have to do your own part as well. Is there something that he likes that you've given to him? Is there something that he wants that you made an effort to do? So it's really, really important, you know, romance. It's a very, very big thing. You work together on this. The next thing that really builds romance and keeps it growing for us is being trustworthy, being truthful. This is what works for us. There's no lies. That kills romance. It kills love. Lies, when there's distrust, it breaks relationships. Being truthful and trustworthy as a person is a big virtue, not just because you want the relationship to be like that. Let that be one of your own pillars. Let it be a principle. Being trustworthy. You know that someone will come to you and you know that they've got your back. It builds romance. When you're treating someone with sincerity, you're truthful. You're not deceitful in your emotions. You're not putting up a mask, a front. This is who I am. And when you both act with integrity, romance is built on a very solid foundation. It is. Try it. Truthfulness and trustworthy. Some people, when they go into religion thinking, this man will not love me if I tell them everything about who I am. No, actually, I mean, before you can go to that relationship, I know everyone says, oh, I can't say everything. But when things start being found out later in the relationship, that's when the relationship starts dying. That's when things start being killed. It's not going to work. So being trustworthy and truthful, it's very, very important. It keeps your integrity. If I can trust you, I can build a life with you. This is what the people, the other person is thinking and saying. Another thing that really builds romance, because I'm very mindful of time, and we have to talk about respect, is being faithful. Being faithful. When you are faithful in your relationship, romance, what am I saying? When we say faithfulness, I mean commitment. You're committed. You're not here today and your word is shifting tomorrow. You're committed. When you're in, you're in. My husband knows me. I'm in, I'm in. There's no left or right. There's no going forward or backward. I don't pretend. This is who I am. I'm very honest with who I am, and he knows where I stand on almost everything. I don't bend my words. If I tell you I love you, I love you. I don't say that because I want to please you, but this is actually how I feel. So in this generation of a lot of I don't know,
Yes.
masking and a lot of social coverage and people not really presenting us sometimes who they really are, it's very difficult to build romance on truth. So it's really important, let's go back and look at ourselves. If you really want romance to be a pillar in your relationship, to be a pillar in your, think about commitment. Be sure to commit to what you're doing. Be sure to be committed in everything you're doing. Show loyalty in your relationship. You're loyal to your husband. You're loyal to your partner. You're loyal to your friend. You're loyal to the person that you're going to get married to. That loyalty is very, very important. A lot of people, because a lot of people are very vulnerable. A lot of people are very how will I put it? A lot of people, they feel like they're on thin ice. They feel like they can't actually they don't feel secure. A lot of people struggle with insecurities already. So adding lack of commitment to that is just going to break a lot of things. Remember, the romance we're talking about, it's not just romance of buying gifts, of buying that and just fleeting. We're talking about real pillars. We're talking about how we can build our love on something real and not just something fleeting, not just something that's going to come and go. We're talking about something that's very, very firm. So commitment is very important. You're standing by me in all my challenges, and you're standing by me when there's no challenges. And most importantly, you're keeping your promises. You say one thing, you mean it, and you follow through with it. You're not going back on your promises. This deepens intimacy. That's the commitment we're talking about. That's when you see the real romance coming out. You see romance coming out flawlessly. You see it coming out effortlessly. That's when it becomes a real pillar because you're standing there. Why are our parents having these 40-year, 50-year, 60-year relationships? Is it because they didn't have any problems? No, they had their problems, but they were committed. They stayed in it and they went through the challenges together, and it deepened their intimacy and their romance. They might not be so expressive, but they know how they deal with romance. So these are the things that are very, very important. In addition to this, how do I put this one now? This one is not particularly me because my voice is can be quite strong, but we need to try, a gentle tone. God is still helping me in that area. But speaking softly, and just trying, because us girls sometimes, as it comes, that's how it's going back. You give as much as you get. So, but in times when there is a heated argument, how do we come back from that without breaking the romance? I think that's where we're going to. We need to always find a way to come back from the quarrels, from the strife, from the breaking of everything. We need to always find a way to come back. So what am I saying? For romance to build, you need to exercise control in your emotions. We need to handle conflicts with care. We need to treat the other person as someone who's got emotion, someone who has got a feeling. And when you speak, even though you're speaking, let your head be thinking about what you're saying. If you feel like it's not something that's going to come back and bite you, don't say it. Just deal with the other, because it breaks relationships. Words truly do hurt. So it's really important that we are very gentle with our words and we put a lid on our emotions. A lot of people are still struggling with managing emotions. It kills romance. It kills romance. Because romance it's more than just passion. It's more than just, the giving of gifts. It's more than that. It requires a huge control of our emotions. It requires us being mindful with our words. It requires us maintaining boundaries and respecting each other's boundaries. That will take us to respect, because we'll talk about boundaries a lot in respect. Maintaining certain boundaries, it helps to maintain a very healthy and a romantic relationship. It's not anything goes. There is no over familiarity, because that causes a lot of disrespect. And when we become over familiar, even though it's your spouse, try and always be, don't try to be over familiar to the point of being disrespectful, because it will kill romance. It kills romance. Those are the things that keep us going. I don't know about you, but if there's anything that's in all of what I've said that helps you, then that's amazing. Everyone's different, and every relationship is different. We are looking for more of a grounded relationship. We're looking for more of a grounded foundation. That's not just all about a fleeting moment. It's not just all about what's happening now. It's also what we're going to be doing in the near future, if God keeps us alive. So it's how we're going to live. So we try and make this a way of life for us. It's not just, something that we just do and we move on. No, we want to make it a way of life. And I'm not just saying that for saying sake. That's how we want to live. So saying verbal affirmations, I love you, giving compliments. To be honest, some people are not actually very good at that. And that's okay. Some people are very different. So I can't say that, people say I love you all the time. If you're able to say it, giving compliments, sending thoughtful messages, having, joking chats, it's very, very good to build romance. When you have physical contact, affection, holding hands, and not just, talking about intimacy, and talking also about hugs, kisses, holding, simple touches, things that just convey warmth. It also builds it all. That quality time I talked about, that uninterrupted time that you have together. We live in a society where work kind of dominates almost everything. And the time that you actually have at home is to sleep. So you have to intentionally build these moments together and make it happen. Now, there's some people that are very traditional, and they don't particularly like going out, they don't like doing things, they don't like doing anything, but you need to find something, otherwise it begins to create a little bit of, problems in the relationship, So it's really, really important. And there's some people that also like going out, and they can't go out all the time. You need to find some time to, relax and also do something at home. But that uninterrupted time is very, very important. Okay. And we talked about, again, the acts of service, just little things. And, romance is also part of helping out. My husband, sometimes he will sit down. I can be in the kitchen and he will come in and help me out. He will help me out too. Or what do you want me to do? I say, okay, you need to do that one. And while we're doing that, we are chatting with each other. Before you know the meal is ready, we sit down together. That time together is really, really important. Not that you're there and this one is on the phone and this one is flicking through this. You've broken everything, and this phone is not even helping. A lot of video calls, everyone just swiping. That also kills romance. It's taking away time, that valuable time from your relationships. It's really, really important. And no, even unexpected gestures, different things. The list is endless. So that's us. For us, that's the foundation of romance, because we're talking about pillars of intimacy here. We're not just talking about something that is fleeting. We're talking about what you want to build on. It needs to be virtue and value and principle driven. It's not just about, what you can get from me. What is it that you can buy from me that, the world has not already seen? All these things will come and go, but what do we have together that I can hold on to and say, this is us? So it's really, really important. But that's me personally. And now we move on to respect. Respect is another huge pillar. It's a very, very, very big thing. In a lot of cultures, it's a foundation of a relationship. And I'm not just talking about in church, they'll say submission. That's not what respect is. I can submit, but I don't respect you. I don't. So there's a lot of difference in that. So respect is when you value me. I want you to value me as a person. Is when you honor, you actually value me, you honor my thoughts, you my feelings, my opinions, even my choices, even when they're different from yours. That's respect. My thoughts, my feelings, my opinions, my choices, you value them even when they are different from yours. Yours doesn't have to, both men and women, yours does not always have to be the last say. You know, it's really, really important that we treat each other in this way. It's really important because that also builds the romance. If the choices that if it's something that I would like to do, I need to do, you don't put it down. You don't put me down, and you don't put my opinions down. You don't put my feelings down and lock them in the box as if they don't matter. I am also a human being in that relationship. We are equal partners, helpers, whatever we are in that relationship. We're together in it. Without me, you're not going far. And without you, I'm not going far. But together, we are a formidable force. That's why we came together in the first place. Remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about respect and romance, pillars of intimacy. If you want us to be really intimate and close, my feelings, my thoughts, my opinions, my choices should be respected even when they're different from yours. That's what respect is. You value it. And one of the pillars of respect is paying attention. I'm not just saying listen or hear. You know, you can actually hear, but you're not listening. You can hear what I'm saying, but you're not actually listening to me. It's very, very possible. Because my husband and I sit down, I ask, are you listening to me? He'll say, yeah, yeah. I said, no, you're hearing me, you're not listening. So listening is something, it means you're paying attention and actually taking an interest in what I'm saying and acknowledging it and acknowledging how I feel. Yeah. So that's really, really important. That shows me that you respect what I'm saying, you respect my boundaries, you respect me as a person. It's really, really important. And acknowledging those feelings for a woman, it goes a long way. Acknowledging the things that she's expressing and experiencing is really important because for the woman, it goes a long way. And for the man as well. There is nothing worse than, someone that disrespects a man. And we women, God will help us. We have our mouths and we're very good at using them. So, but it's very, very important that we respect, our husbands. It is the bottom line. It's really important that we respect, but it's very important that they acknowledge and pay attention to what we're saying as well, and pay attention to our choices and our feelings as well. Because when you do that, the woman feels valued and the man feels valued both ways. And in that way, you maintain something. So I know that time is running out fast. I was just going to rush through the next. So respect as well is actually, understanding the person's, decisions and understanding their emotions and how they're feeling. Some people don't speak very much, but the body language says 1,000 words. And if you know that person very well, you'll be able to read and understand. I know some people don't have that intuition of being able to read a person or read the room or read what's around them and say, oh, actually, this is what's going on. A lot of people probably don't have that, intuition. But if it's something we can build as a person, it will develop respect a lot for each other. Because a lot of women, a lot of people, they murmur inside of them, that's tearing down inside their hearts. Many people are split into different personalities and complaining inside their hearts. They cannot even voice it, but because we are not listening. We're not listening to what's going on. If you just take time to listen the carpet will be a lot lower.
Oh, wow.
It will be a lot lower. Now, another very important thing for respect to actually stand is to uplift each other's dreams, their ambitions, and their struggles. Lift each other's dreams. A lot of people's dreams are suppressed and unsupported in relationships. That kills romance and it kills respect. Because what's the point of this? You don't even respect my dreams. Anything that someone wants to do is their dream. Respect it, support them, encourage them in it. Go for it. It shows that you actually, respect this thing, their ambitions, their struggles. It's really important to respect it. It's so, so important. And you see them struggling with something, don't just leave them there and say, oh, what's that? Get over it. No, you can't just leave me there and say, get over it. You don't know how I need you in this. I need you to hear me and understand and walk with me through these struggles. And when I come out on the other end, I'll take you for a better person. But if I come out of it on my own, I build a wall. And then I know that next time I fall, I have to pick myself up. And then the value of the other person starts coming lower and lower and lower. And we don't want that. We want to be able to lean on each other. We don't want to always be picking ourselves up all the time. Because when we do that, we build walls. We build walls around our hearts, our emotions. We build walls around ourselves because we don't want anyone to come in and hurt us. And then that person is not able to fix things with me. And it's something that's very important in respect, and it's communication. The way we speak to each other sometimes is really, really important. The insults, we come from a very insultive culture. So resolving conflicts without the insults is very, very important. Let's try to tame our tongues, not to be so insultive. It's really, really important because it builds respect. There are things that you cuss and say to people which they'll never come out of because that thing will be in their head and all they think, this is how you think about me. This is who you think about me. And it can stay there for years and it will affect your relationship. It will affect the respect you have for that person. So it's really, really important. And it's also important to recognize that the person that you're with is an equal partner in that relationship. You value the relationship, you value the role. Even if the woman is in a very high position and the man is in a low position, remember that those societal roles are just there. The relationship is between the two of you. The relationship is you, not your position. The relationship is you, and not because you are, the president or the prime minister or this or that or that. No, it's the two of you. It's between this man and this woman. The relationship is what's important, not the position. Because positions have made respect to come down. The day you come down, you're climbing up that ladder, you're breaking the rungs. The day you want to come down, you come down with a crash. It's really important. Keep that role separate from who you are. Your role doesn't define you. When a relationship becomes like that, it becomes toxic. When one person starts to feel unheard, undervalued, or disrespected, it becomes very toxic. And it's not very, very good. So, what are we saying here? There's so much there, but I'm not going to go into everything now because of time and with questions and answers as well to look at. But the bottom line is, if you have romance and respect, it will build trust. It will prevent resentment. It will encourage a healthy communication between your spouse and yourself, between the person you're going into a relationship with and yourself. If you build it now, when you're just actually, going into a relationship, it will keep a lot of fresh. Let no one ever feel inferior or superior in a relationship. You're both together in it. Don't make me feel small because you're feeling too big. It will break the relationship and you take away romance and respect. It will. I might be saying yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, but in my heart I'm coughing. It will breed jealousy, envy. These things destroy respect. So what are some of the things that can hinder it? You know, when we don't make the effort as well, when we are complacent, you know, there's something that they call it see finish. See finish, like you just over familiarity. That can destroy things. So let's try not to be over familiar in our relationship. Let's try to maintain some level of dignity and remember how you loved this man when you first got married to him. When there's unresolved conflicts, I forgot to talk about that one. You need to try and resolve conflicts as much as possible. Hard to say, especially when certain things are going on. When there's unresolved conflicts, when there's resentment, it is difficult to build love.
Hello, ma. We can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry about that. I was saying that when there's unresolved conflicts in relationships and when there's resentment from things that have happened, like maybe past hurts, which have been unaddressed and they've been unresolved, and unaddressed issues, you know, things that have built over time and no one's done anything about it. Do you know what that does? It leads to emotional withdrawal. People will actually withdraw within themselves, and then disrespect starts to come in. Yeah. People will withdraw if something is not dealt with. You just feel that they're on their own. So it's really, really important to address it. Just sit down and talk about things. Is there anything that's bothering you? That's a big question. What's bothering you? Is there anything that's bothering you at the moment? Just talk about things. It might not even be something that's a conflict. It might just be something that's bothering me. And we paid attention. And you've actually bothered to ask. And I'm talking about both parties, men and women. And then another thing is, you know, holding on to grudges. If we let go, there's some grudges that don't go because the conflicts are not resolved. So let's try to resolve this, you know, conflicts, because it will lead to coldness, and that takes romance away. You know, even passive aggression, it just goes in there. It's all in that ladder. But when we try and fix things, when we try and get things sorted out, it lightens the heart. It knows that, you know, things are being resolved.
Yeah.
There's also external pressures. People go through a lot of things. These things can actually prevent, you know, romance and respect. When people become very snappy, when they're under pressure. So let's share responsibilities together. Family responsibilities, personal struggles. These things drain energy. So let's share it together. Because if we don't share it together, then people will start struggling. People will lash out. People will, because they're stressed. And it's just what happens. And because of that, disrespectful interactions just start to come. And before you know it, things start to break down. But you need to get to the bottom of, why am I stressed? Why am I upset? If you can answer that question and sort things out, things will get better. Let's communicate with each other. Let's be clear. Let's try to reduce social media. People go to social media and then expect their relationships to be like that. These things that we see online, it produces unrealistic expectations in your homes. You start having, you know, there was I don't know, men was, you know, and women, you will see both men, maybe men and women online, and then expect their spouses to be like that. No, you didn't marry that woman. This is who you married. And let's work on me as I am and work together. Because these things, you know, they hurt feelings and they make, you know, you give unrealistic expectations. Let's manage expectations within our relationships of what's actually possible and what's not possible. Let's not compare our relationships to the Joneses and, you know, the whoever. Let's not compare our spouses to other people. It will break romance. It will break respect, because people are very different. People are very, very different. And the way I am is very different to the way someone else is. And because of all that, people will start feeling pressure to perform, you know. They will start feeling pressure to perform. You start comparing, they'll be feel that they're under pressure And so authenticity becomes lacking because people want to live up to certain expectations. Another thing that really kills romance is lack of emotional maturity. And when people are not very self-aware, I need to know who I am. I may struggle with certain emotions, and I need to respect the fact that someone else might have their own struggles. And some people actually struggle with a lot of unresolved personal issues and really struggle to express romance because of past traumas. A lot of people have past traumas, which make it very difficult for them to emotionally regulate. So work through these issues with them and work through this, and if I know that I'm difficult to emotionally regulate, the understanding then comes in because that person is dealing with a trauma, especially people who've experienced some form of, abuse or something like that. They might find it very difficult to regulate emotionally. So they might find it difficult to express romance.
Okay.
So try to understand all these things.
Sorry, ma.
Yes.
I'll just try to, like, if you can, because the questions are like
pouring in. Okay, so I'll stop here.
I
There's
have
more to
enough
talk about,
questions
but
here
I'll stop here
already.
for now. And please do ask the questions. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much for. It's a place where it's a very big topic. We can go on and on, but I'll stop here for now. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to cut you short because from what let me just say a very big thank you. But for what we have been discussing here from my end, I have so many questions that so please everyone, please kindly drop your questions and our speaker will answer. So we are going straight into the question and answer session. I want to say a big thank you, Ma, for doing justice. The serene environment, the calm environment, is something that is different for me. I'm a very restless person. Sorry. So when you were talking on romance and everything, I'm like, and then you mentioned patience. You've given us a very deep perspective that I want to say thank you for this expository perspective to romance and respect, because even me, I'm like, the thing is curing me of some expectations, because my perspective of romance is that the razzmatazz, because the razzmatazz to it is the romance. But you made mention of two key things that kind of that I caught, and that was that it wears off. It wears off. So it's not just the activities or the razzmatazz, but it is then you now broke them down, and I'm like, wow, thank you so much. Now my question is, while you were speaking on romance and also on respect, when you started speaking on respect, you mentioned boundaries. And I've been married now for 18 years, and what is generally known is that you both of you are married. So why would you be talking about boundaries? And then you hear so many, even in our in churches, and there's so many talks, motivational talks and counseling and everything. It's a big thing on saying, people saying, or rather motivational speakers or teachers saying that once you are married you are one. So why would you be talking about boundaries? You don't have boundaries. You don't have boundaries. So please, ma, why is boundaries important? Why is boundary important? Because fine, we are one, but there's still a part of me that wants to enjoy myself as myself. So why is boundary important? Why must we have boundary? Please, can you help us just balance that aspect? Because really, it's a general teaching that once you are married, there's no boundary.
Thank you. Yes. Boundaries are very important. The boundaries are important because of over familiarity. Becoming one doesn't mean I will not be boundaried. Becoming one doesn't mean I will not respect you. When you're one, we're talking about over familiarity here, boundaries where, you know, you speak to the person anyhow, you don't respect their time, their privacy, their feelings, their choices. This is the boundaries that we're also looking at. We need to, the boundaries are not just about you're there and I'm here. It's not a physical boundary. It's not a physical boundary, it's a respect boundary. Me respecting myself and knowing this is my limit of where I can go in terms of the way I talk to you, in terms of the way I deal with you, in terms of the way I I how will I put it? Anything. There is a limit to where you can do things. You can't just do anything just because you're married. No, there's a limit to what I can do or say to my husband just because we're married. I can't just say because we're one, I can do what I want. No, it's not like that. You know, when you become married, that's when you actually begin to find your feet as to what you can and what you can't do. Otherwise, you break relationship. Otherwise, it will break romance. The boundaries are there to safeguard each other from heartache. There's a boundary to what you would have to say. You can't just say anything because you're married. And you can't just treat the woman anyhow because you're married. Yes, you are one. Oneness is one in spirit, one in soul, one in mind, in the way you're thinking. You should be working together as one. That's the oneness. And one in spirit. You're praying together and doing all these things together. But you still need to be very boundaried. Because if you're not boundaried, then you will disrespect me and I will be disrespecting you unconsciously. You do it unconsciously. You wouldn't realize it, but you creep in. But when you set certain boundaries, oh, I didn't like the way you speak to me like this. If you want, I don't like the way you put boundaries in expectations, not high expectations, but small expectations. Then you will know that, oh, if you're one and there's no boundaries, and then people will just do what they want. I will expect, it's the boundaries are there for expectations, not big ones, just simple things, simple life expectations, home expectations, expectations between the two of you, things that I would expect you to do and things that you would expect me to do for you. These boundaries are there to safeguard your relationship. It's there to protect your relationship from breaking apart. That's what it's there for. It's not just there because the two of you are one. I don't know what boundaries people have in their own homes, so it's very difficult to specify. But in my home, there's a boundary. I don't like being insulted, so there's a very firm boundary there. You can't go around calling me names. No. So my husband would not do that. He doesn't do that. Okay. So you can't go around or the certain things he knows, the things that he will do that will make me upset, and he wouldn't do them. So those are little things that are like the boundaries. Those are the kind of things that I wouldn't do this because I know my wife would not be happy with it. So these boundaries, I'm not talking about physical boundaries. You set yourself emotional boundaries as well. There is so far that you let someone hurt you and trample and break that heart over and over again. You need to tell them this is how you feel, and people need to respect your choices and in how you feel and how you want things done. Much as the home is like that, if you didn't have boundaries and certain unwritten rules in the house, it would turn into chaos. Our parents all had these boundaries, but it was just not seen. And the way the society is, the boundaries are there. When you don't set them, that's when everything descends into anarchy.
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma. Thank you so much. I've been like, you have such a soothing and calming voice. Very day, it's not like my own. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. Sorry. So I have another question. There's this generalized teaching that respect is for a man solely. That is men that need respect. A woman needs attention. But while you in your teaching, you mentioned that respect is for both. So where is the balance here? Where is the balance? And then you also mentioned that romance is needed by both. Whereas we are taught, what I've known, or rather I've heard over the years, is that it's women that are that need romance. A man does not need romance. A man is logical. A woman is emotional. Please kindly throw more light on this aspect, two aspects that you have actually spoken about earlier.
Absolutely. So, in terms of the woman needing attention and the man is the one that gets respect, that is not how it works in my home. We respect each other. So, respect is for both men and women. When you're disrespectful to the woman, that's when the romance breaks. That's when you break the relationship. I think that's something, it's a cultural thing. I think that's a cultural thing where we've grown up in a culture where women are, not respected to say the attention. But you give me attention? So that's the question. So respect is for both men and women. It's for each other. And it's a very big foundation because where respect thrives, my husband respects me, he respects my choices, he respects the things that I do, he supports them, he respects that's the bottom line. And I do the same for him. And that respect helps us to build on whatever it is that we want to build on. Respect is for both parties, men and women. Women respect the women, the men, and men respect the women. It's the bottom line. Because if I'm disrespectful, if you don't respect me, sometimes it's very, very difficult to respect the other one back. We need that mutual respect for the marriage to thrive. So like I said, I shared my own experience in terms of how things work. But respect is for both of us. It's for both of us. Everyone in that relationship needs to respect each other's feelings, choices, emotions, views, and everything. Because if you don't, the woman, she's not just an object. She's a person who is loved and valued in the eyes of the Almighty God. And what about you? You have to respect that person. In society, respect the people. You need to respect what this person is saying all the time. You can't just brush the side as being unimportant. So it's really, really important that because that's the best way you work together. When you respect each other, it's very, very crucial. It's very important because it creates a safe space to open emotionally without pressure.
Thank you so much, Ma. Please kindly drop your questions if you have any. Please, in fact, I'm expecting us to have questions already. I think we are so used to the Nigeria would say gri type on this platform that the calm, when we now have calm speakers, we are all like, but then, so there's another thing I want to, you also mentioned while you were talking was about balancing responsibilities. And you mentioned that sometimes when responsibility is not balanced, it can put a strain on romance and respect. Now, in our culture, where these days, I speak of back home, in a where the in terms of responsibilities, women are now taking up more responsibility, are being made to take up responsibilities for the home, for the children. In fact, the percentage is on the rise, and you find out that you mentioned that it drains romance, it drains respect. So, and you find that women kind of lose, will I say, lose interest in the relationship. Be it marriage, especially in the marriage relationship, they become withdrawn. So what can the woman, or what should women do What should women do? Because really, it is not when you are the one carrying the bulk of family responsibility, it can actually, indeed put a drain on your. So, but what can be done? Because you might say it's not easy to. You might have even spoken to the person, gone for counseling, and yet the whole thing persists. But what should a woman do in this situation?
Okay, peace and boundaries.
Hmm.
That's what happens when you don't set boundaries.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. You need to sit down and talk about it. That's the first thing. I mean, there's always the unwritten rule that the man takes responsibility for everything. But well, I didn't even grow up in a household like that. I grew up in a household where both parents worked and both parents took responsibility for everything. My mom always worked. My dad always worked. Now, in my own household, it's very similar. We both work full time, but we have our shared responsibilities, and it's very, very clear. My husband, he does what he does, and I do what I do. And sometimes when I get stuck, he takes over some of my responsibilities for the time that I'm stuck, and then I take it over when when things are a lot easier. And when we're talking about responsibilities, I'm going to put certain responsibilities together, and I'm talking about financial responsibilities, where a woman probably works and earns more money, and the man probably earns less. You work together. You work together and see what it is that you can do without putting a strain on yourself. Um, there have been times in our relationships where the tip has been on one side as well. And we just work together with each other. And we work together and we support each other until one person balances the other. When it comes to household responsibilities, that one is a very big one because if you're working full time and you also have to come back, cook and clean and do everything, you will drain. You are not a robot. You will drain. So I speak out a lot. I tell my husband, look, it's too much on me. And can we see how we can share this? What can we do to fix this? Again, like I said, that communication. Speak to each other and see what you can share because you can't do everything. The next thing is that you're dropping or you're in hospital or you're wearing yourself out. So it's really important. What you can do, you can do. What you can't do, you can't do. Let it stay there. You don't have to do everything. Leave it. You don't have to do everything. You don't feel this pressure of responsibility that I have to do it. No, you don't. I'm sorry. I know a lot of men will be thinking, what do you think she said? I will say it every day. You don't have to do everything. Share the responsibility. If not, if you're someone that easily gets stressed out and crashes, that's what will keep happening. And it's not good for you. It's not good for your health. And if something happens to you, what becomes of the man? He too, he might miss you for a while and then he'll move on.
Hey, wow.
So you have to take care of yourself. I know people say I'm talking as a feminist. I'm talking as a person, a human being that works full time and also has a home to run. We share the responsibilities. I cook. Sometimes when I'm too tired, my husband, but very sparingly, he will cook. But then the day he cooks, we all eat. I think no matter what it is, and he's a very good cook. But most of the time, I do the cooking because I enjoy it. It's not because I want to share. It's because I enjoy it. So you share responsibilities, and then there's the responsibilities of people that have children. There's that as well. So you're working full time, you're cleaning and cooking, and you're looking after the children all together, and you have a huge responsibility of financial commitment as well. Think about it yourself. When will you crash and burn? You need to find a space of those are the boundaries I'm talking about. You need to sit down and say, this is what I can do, and this is what I can do. There's always going to be like a bit of a disagreement initially, but you need to work together on this in a very loving way, in a very beautiful way. Just talk to each other. Let that peace reign. Just talk to each other and say, look, let's try and find a way of resolving this because I am struggling here. I am crashing out, and express your feelings. I'm someone that's very expressive. I'm struggling, I'll scream and shout at, no, I can't do it anymore. I will tell you how I feel that no, don't have to get up every morning at 6 o'clock and start and finish at 11 o'clock at night. There are days when you just, if your body is not telling you, lie in bed and rest. The house will not crash and burn that day. People will not go hungry. If we're going to eat toast and tea, let it be like that. You need to find yourself, you boundary yourself to rest. Give yourself that boundary to rest. If not, you will not be able to manage all of this. The responsibilities will always be there. How much can you take? So with the boundaries and find peace within yourself. Try and find peace within yourself. These things are always going to be there. Sit down, breathe, take stock, and say, you know what? This is my lot. This is what I'm faced with. What can I do? What can I not do? Put the things on the list, cross what you need to cross out, and find peace within yourself.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. As in deep things. Thank you for clarity. Another question. I'm not seeing anyone post questions. Maybe they are okay. My one I'm asking. Now, there's something that I observed with Nigerians that jackpot. Let me put it that way. Those of us here, because of the kind of because of those of us who are abroad.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, okay. You don't know?
No.
Are you serious? Okay. Jackpot means those of us that left Nigeria and went abroad, traveled abroad and all that. Yes.
All right.
So, one thing that has been prevalent in with Nigerians that moved in recent time, let's say the 5, 6, 7, 8 years or 10 years thereby, is that, for example, in the UK, we are having consistent and persistent issues of husbands killing their wives. I've not had anything happen in Canada where I am, but what we now have is spouses who are redundant. Let me try to clarify, both from the woman end and from the man end. That means, for example, they've moved abroad, and either the one of them, is placing the responsibility of the home, because that's where it has been back home, on one, and then the other one is caving in, and there's problem. So back home, back here, rather, where I am in Canada, everybody is trying to keep low and not expose themselves, or like the situation we hear from the UK where they are cleaning themselves. So the thing is that now, and so in the situation, my question is that when you have a spouse, because you say we should sit down and talk, and you have somebody who is not willing to sit down and talk, who avoids, who has these avoidance characteristics and doesn't want to discuss because they don't want to take responsibility, and it's a pattern. It has become a pattern. This will put a strain on romance and even respect. So what is this? What do you think will help and such a relationship with this kind of issue?
Okay. In my experience, one of the places where these kind of things are sorted out, you need every man has should I say, someone who's responsible for them, even if they have someone someone you can talk to regarding this person, whether it's your pastor or someone, if the person doesn't actually want to sit down. First of all, you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying to do what you need to do to resolve this conflict. It's what I said from the beginning, that sitting down and talking, that valuing of each other, and the approach in which you're talking as well, it matters a lot. It's what we're talking about right from the beginning. The manner in which you're talking about it, the approach you're using. Sometimes people need to recreate approaches that will help to foster that conversation. It's really important. So if we're able to create avenues to talk and it's still not working, there needs to be someone who you can speak to. And if there's no one, I do what I always do. I go down to my knees and I pray for wisdom on how to deal with it. So sometimes you don't have a responsibility to take everything on. I think it's this feeling of I have to do everything. No, you don't. You don't have a responsibility responsibility to take everything on. You do what you can do, and then you know what doesn't need to be done, you strike it off the list. If you take so much on yourself, this is what leads to pressure again. You try to first of all take out what doesn't need to be on your list. You have a list, take things out. There's certain things that don't need to be on your list. Focus on what you need, basics, and then the rest will fall into place. The rest of the things you don't need, take them out, and then find different approaches of speaking to the person. You have to find a way. If there's avoidance of what and why is there avoidance? Talk to why the avoidance is happening. So it's really, really important. Try and look for that. Try and look for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma. There's a question that is there, and that question is one question that is our African men are, let me just say, abused or misunderstood. That's what I have seen. And so there's someone here who is asking the question, Jude Nkwele. He said he's saying hello to you. He said it's Nick Ozone or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's talking about submission. You know this submission. You know this being submissive. So he's asking. He said it's a husband-wife relationship and equal. I don't think we are talking about equal here. Equal relationship, or should the woman be submissive?
Submission is respect.
This word, word.
Submission is respect. Submission is respect. I don't know what people understand about submission, but submission is respect.
Even the Bible said we should submit one to another too in the earlier verse.
It's the respect we're talking about. Submission is respect. You know, it's respect. I don't know what you understand. What people, I know a lot of people interpret it in different ways.
Yeah.
It's not just me bowing down and lying on the floor. And that's it in everything. Yeah, it's to respect you in everything. It's not to throw you under the bus or put you out there or treat you in a way that you don't want to be treated. That's what I understand. And that's how I've worked in my home, and that's what's always helped me. You sit down and talk about things. It's really important. Submission does not mean agree with everything the man is saying. And if he says go and jump in the fire, go and jump in the fire. That's not submission. Submission is respect. And absolutely, I'm going to answer that question. Is the husband-wife relationship an equal relationship? You're equal heirs in Christ. I'm not going to bring church into it, but that's my foundation in life. That relationship is not an equal relationship. The husband is the head of the home. He has his position as the head of the home. That one cannot change. You are the head of the home. You are the husband, you are the leader, you are the priest, you are the head of that home. So the responsibility of managing that home lies on the husband. The husband is the helper. But what we're saying is that we need to respect each other. Just because you're the head of the home, the relationship is not equal. Because you're the head, it's a head of service, not of oppression.
Yeah.
It's not that you oppress the woman because you're the head. It's to love her, it's to nurture her, it's to treat her as you would treat yourself.
Yeah.
It's when it becomes oppressive and this woman cannot breathe. That's when it becomes a problem. When you want to match and step on her and treat her like, a rag or doormat just because of the word submission. Submission does not mean oppression. It doesn't. Please don't oppress your wives. You will turn them into the beasts that they can become. Because if you oppress them, they would want to breathe, they will want to be free. That's when there's a lot of fighting. And no man can control anyone. You cannot control emotions. You can't control a woman. If you respect her and you love her, she'll be under control herself. Trust me. Just respect her, love her, listen to her, treat her, respect her choices, her opinions, everything. Respect each other. Oh, Zone, hi. He's
Thank
my
you, sir.
guy
We
from
really
time.
appreciate the question. Okay, man. Thank you for answering it. I really love
Welcome.
it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
don't
don't be, we appreciate, we really, in fact, appreciate these questions. Thank you so much, sir. Ma, there's another question which I also want to draw out from your teaching, and that is, the question on this week. I read on on a page, on someone's Facebook page, and the person was like, sometimes when the relationship is, is choking you, is frustrating, instead of quarreling and creating issues, and you have tried every way to see that it work, that you should what you should just face your children as a woman. Even as a man, just face your children and face, start create something distraction for yourself. That was the word the person used. And then, because you can't change someone who doesn't want to be changed. And that's number one. Then secondly, I also saw another, where it was a marriage platform, and it was even a man that was saying it, and the man made a statement. He said it is easy for a man to change a woman, a husband to change his wife, but very slim for a wife to change her husband. So I kind of agree, because somehow I agree to a percentage, but I now feel that men some kind of always need to see how serious they test us women, test our patients, and see how serious and firm and consistent we are before they now start to see the side of it and start to be to cooperate and behave, though they don't always agree or accept or acknowledge it. So, but now my question now is based on that, creating a distraction for yourself. How,
I
how healthy is it? Thank God you're a mental health person. How healthy is it? Because really,
it does.
it means that the person has left the marriage, the person has left the
You see,
marriage. It's not the physical
it-
presence that is remaining.
ah, in terms of creativity, I mean, I have many hobbies, so it's difficult to say I've created a distraction for myself. No, because I have a lot of hobbies, so there's a lot of things that I enjoy doing on my own and with my husband. We all have different hobbies and we come together to do different things. I wouldn't advise you creating it to focus only on the children. No, because before the children were there, your husband was there. So you have to go back to look at what brought you together, what it is that the things that you enjoyed, what are the things that, this is where, when we're talking about at the beginning, when there's, the patience, the joy, the love, all these different things that leave trustworthiness, all these things, unresolved conflicts, you need to go back to looking at, the things that kept you going in the first place. Where was the love? What are the things that kept you going? What was it that strengthened your bond? What is it that what was there? What was it that was there before everything else, before you faced the children? What did you have together? And if it was nothing, try to build something now. You always need to build, because the man is your husband. You're there for a reason. If you close your heart and close that door, then it's not healthy for you. You're not living in a good space emotionally. So you need to go back and find things that you enjoy together. Go back and find the things that you love doing together. Go back and find the things that you enjoy with each other. I don't know what it was, but you need to go back to that space. So distractions, I have a lot of hobbies, like I said, but if you have your own hobbies, that's great. There's things that I enjoy, there's things that my husband enjoys on his own, each other on our own, and the things that we do together. So that's where the respect comes in and the boundaries come in. When you have your when you've established certain things in your family together, all these other conflicting areas will tend to resolve. And if you have conflicts that are not resolved, try to resolve them, because That's what has built over time, and now you're facing your own side. So you have to try to, solve all these unresolved conflicts. And there is resentment. If you're upset and angry about something, then you face your own side. What is it that's upsetting you? Do you want it resolved? Do you want to have a happy marriage? Do you want to have another good? Do you want to try again? So go back to these issues and try to see how you can resolve them. Try if you want to. Nobody is made of stone and water.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Anytime we have any topic on this platform that has to do with, you know, married people and all that, because the platform is not only for married people, it's not topics that affect everyone. There's one particular question I always ask to get people's perspective, and that's about jealousy in marriage. Because sometimes the crust of the problem is jealousy. Couple envying one another, being jealous of one another. What do you say? What would you have to say about that?
What's bringing the jealousy? That's the question. I don't have any reason to be jealous. And again, like I said, at some point in the teaching, we talked about insecurity. That a lot of people go into marriage with insecurities, and they get into relationship with insecurities, and that could be something they've brought in from their childhood or something they've experienced in the past, and they've come to that relationship with it, and it was not resolved where it was, and it's come here and it's affecting their present. So we need to resolve our insecurities within ourselves. If we're very insecure about who we are and what we are about, that will create jealousy. It will create all these different things, all this envy and all these different emotions. Please, in a relationship, no one is, I said it before, let there be no superiors or inferiors. Never ever make anyone to feel small or big. And you don't feel too big to be able to, be a part of that relationship. We serve each other and we work with each other. Always make the other person feel loved, confident, and make them know that there is no one else that's better than them. Let them be always your priority and your number one. There's no one who's better than my husband. Bottom line. So you give them the space to feel confident. Give them the space to feel confident. Give them the space to feel loved. Give them the space to eradicate and get rid of all the jealousy and the envy. Don't give them a reason to be that. Don't be flicking and looking at, certain types of images on Facebook. And some people who are already vulnerable will pick that you up and think that this is what you do. And it even makes it worse. People are already dealing with a lot of insecurities. And so you all have a support system to strengthen them and, build their confidence as well, to make them know that you don't need to be worried about all these things. I'm here with you, and I'm here for you, and I'm here in this relationship, present with you. Help them to get rid of all of that. You don't need to make them feel that way. And if you're in a space where you're constantly making them feel small, then these are the things that will come up.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Before I ask the final question, I just want to read out what comments that has been made. Another comment from Y.W.W.B Misola says, if there is respect for each other in a relationship, submission is easier for both to enjoy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So on the final question is this, how do I coin it now? Ooh, Madam Deft. Okay, thank you so much, our speaker. I think just where the thing took her out. Okay. Oh, okay. Just trying to bring it back. Okay. Oh, what an we've we've really spent so much time on talking about this topic, but it is I must say that it has been worthwhile, very calm, well articulated, well dished out teaching. Balanced. For me, I feel it is balanced. I don't want to speak for any other person. Well balanced teaching today. The where for me, for every aspect I see, or rather I see a balance where in what has been taught today. Thank you so much, Ma. I think is the network's issue. Thank you so much, Ma, for honoring us with your presence. We do not take it for granted. And to everyone who joined us on this live, thank you so much. Be it that you joined because you came to support the speaker, or that you joined because, but I definitely want to say that this is a worthwhile platform. Every Saturday, 8 p.m. West African time, which is Nigerian time, and with different time zones wherever we are globally, but we actually use the West African time as our centered time. We on Saturdays, every Saturday, we come on this platform and we actually speak on varying topics that affect not just married people, but human beings as a whole. But most specifically, we are concerned about the wholeness of the woman. On the young women and wives with burdens and blessings. That is the name of the initiative that runs this discussion platform. The wholeness of the woman is very important. We are here to have a balanced approach for the woman to look at. So we are not here taking sides. We're here to help the woman heal, to help the woman grow, and to help the woman become the best of who she is to become a whole, well-rounded and well-grounded woman. And until we come your way next week, Saturday, I remain Rosemary Henry as a coordinator for the Young Women and Wives with Burdens and Blessing Initiative. And I say thank you for a wonderful, blessing laden Saturday. Bye. See you. Thank you.